Welcome back, everyone. Today we're doing a deep dive on something very urgent, very present danger.
Yeah.
The mountain fire burning right now in Southern California. So we got a USA Today article this morning, November 7, 2024.
Okay.
And the situation is changing really fast. So over 10,000 people have been forced out of their homes already.
Jesus.
And this fire is just ripping through Ventura County, and it's 0% contained.
That's scary. I mean, that's a real reminder about the power of these wildfires, especially under these conditions.
Right.
I mean, one of the things that really hit me from this article is just how fast this thing's moving.
Yeah.
They talk about firefighters battling this blaze as it just rips through a neighborhood, Camarillo Heights.
Oh, wow.
And it's unpredictable. It's so destructive.
It's heartbreaking to see some of these images, and it says here that the mountain fire has already burned over 14,000 acres.
Wow.
And, it's not just property at risk. At least 2 people have been hospitalized from smoke inhalation. So they've got a huge force fighting back. 800 firefighters on the ground, helicopters, planes, tanker planes, dropping water, and fire retardant.
Yeah, it's like a war against nature.
It really is.
And it makes you realize how complex this kind of response is. It's not just putting out the flames.
No.
It's coordinating all this effort to protect people, protect their property, and whole communities.
Right.
They quote the Ventura County Fire Chief, Dustin Gardner, and he says, "This fire is moving dangerously fast."
Wow.
I mean, that just gives you a sense of the urgency.
You can feel the pressure they're under. And of course, a big part of this article explains, is these crazy strong Santa Ana winds.
Yeah.
We're timing maybe up to 100 miles per hour in the mountains.
Oh my goodness.
That's hurricane force. It's no wonder that the National Weather Service has issued red flag warnings all across California.
Yeah.
Because of what they're calling critical wildfire weather.
And these red flag warnings are serious business.
Yeah.
Don't just issue those lightly. They actually have a special designation for this. It's called a PDS red flag warning.
Okay.
Particularly dangerous situation.
Okay.
And what it means is any new fire that starts is going to spread so fast, it's going to have extreme behavior, and they're worried about long-range spotting.
What is long-range spotting?
Well, basically, it means that embers from the fire can get picked up by these strong winds.
Oh, gosh.
And they can travel way ahead of the main fire and start new fires miles away.
It's like it jumps ahead.
Yeah, like a chain reaction. It's really hard to contain.
That is terrifying. And this article says 26 million people in California are under these red flag warnings.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of the state.
That's a huge number of people. And it puts officials in a really tough spot.
Yeah.
They're having to make these really difficult choices, like should they do proactive power shutoffs to try and stop new fires from starting, even though it could affect over 90,000 customers.
Well, it's a trade-off.
Yeah, huge trade-off between inconvenience and safety.
Yeah, and it really highlights the extreme danger of the whole situation.
Yeah.
This isn't just theoretical. They're saying over 3,500 structures are under threat right now.
Oh, my goodness.
And they don't have an exact number, but we know multiple homes have been destroyed already.
That's just devastating. And it brings up a really important point about wildfires.
Yeah.
It's not just about those dramatic flames and the immediate danger.
Right.
It's the long-term impact this has on people's lives, their homes, their communities.
It's a really good point. This article quotes an official saying, bushes are burning, grass is burning, hedgerows are burning, agricultural fields are burning, and structures are burning.
Wow.
It's grim. It just shows how widespread this destruction can be.
It is.
And it's not just physical damage, it's emotional trauma, economic hardship.
Absolutely. The ripple effects of a wildfire can last for years, even decades.
That's true.
And I think the fact that FEMA has already stepped in to provide federal funds to help California fight this just shows how seriously they're taking this.
Yeah, it really underscores how destructive and costly these fires can be, not just for individuals, but for the whole state.
Yeah.
And, it makes me wonder, with these fires becoming more frequent and more intense, how do we tackle this problem? What can we learn from a situation like this beyond just the immediate response?
That's a great question, and it's something I think we need to really delve into.
Yeah.
Because understanding the bigger picture of wildfires, the role of climate change, and what we can do to reduce these risks, that's going to be essential as these events become more and more common.
It feels like we're at this turning point where we have to shift from just reacting to these fires to actually getting ahead of them.
I agree. That's a really crucial insight. We can't just keep reacting. We have to be proactive.
Yeah.
And this fire As tragic as it is, it's like a little example of a much bigger problem.
Yeah.
And we need to learn from it.
Okay, so where do we start? This just seems like such a huge issue.
Well, this USA Today article actually touches on a few things.
Oh.
Like, remember those red flag warnings we talk about?
Yeah.
They emphasize how important they are as an early warning system.
Okay.
But just having a warning isn't enough. People need to understand what they mean, and more importantly, they need to know how to respond.
Right, that makes sense.
It's like having a smoke detector that goes off, but you don't know what to do.
Exactly.
So it's how to bridge that gap. How do we make sure people are ready to act when they see those warnings?
I don't know. That's a good question. How do we do that?
Well, one key strategy they talk about in the article is creating what they call defensible space around homes.
Okay.
It sounds technical, but it's actually a pretty simple idea.
Defensible space. I'm not sure I'm familiar with that.
Okay, so basically it's creating this buffer zone around your house where you clear out anything that could easily catch fire.
Oh, okay.
You know, think of it like you're starving the fire.
Okay.
So you're getting rid of dry brush, you're trimming trees.
Right.
You're keeping things like firewood stacks far away from your house.
So it's kind of like a fire break, but
Yeah.
on a smaller individual level.
Exactly. And the article points out how this can really reduce the chances of your home catching fire.
Okay.
It's all about giving people the tools to protect their own property.
So it's this mix of individual preparedness and then community level action.
Right.
Are there any bigger things that can be done, like changing land management policies or building codes?
Oh, absolutely. The article talks about how forest management practices play a big role by reducing what they call fuel loads.
Fuel loads? What's that?
Well, basically, it's the amount of stuff in the forest that can burn.
Oh, okay.
It's like, think about it this way. If you have a big pile of dry leaves, it's going to burn a lot faster and hotter than a single twig.
Oh.
Right. It's the same thing in a forest.
Okay.
By thinning out trees, removing deadwood, doing controlled burns, we can keep those fires from getting so intense and spreading so quickly.
It's like managing the forest's diet, making sure it doesn't have too much stuff that could fuel a fire.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Thanks.
And it's not just forests. The article also brings up building codes.
Okay.
You know, making sure new buildings are made with fire-resistant materials and encouraging people to retrofit older buildings.
Yeah.
That can make a huge difference in whether a structure survives a wildfire.
So it's like a multi-pronged approach.
Yeah.
Individual preparedness, community action, policy changes at a bigger level.
Exactly. It takes everyone working together to really make a difference.
It really does seem like a whole of society kind of effort.
Yeah, and that brings us back to that turning point idea.
Okay.
We're at this point where we have to shift from reacting to these fires to trying to prevent them.
Yeah.
It's a whole different way of thinking.
From putting out the flames to stopping them from starting in the first place.
Exactly. And this shift requires everyone to work together. Government agencies, communities, individuals, we need to be sharing information, working together, combining our resources.
You mentioned sharing information, and that just strikes me as so important.
Yeah.
If people don't understand the risks or what they can do to reduce them, then none of these strategies really matter.
That's such a crucial point. We have to educate ourselves and our communities about these wildfire risks.
Yeah.
Ways to prevent them, about how to be prepared.
Yeah.
We have to be talking about this stuff openly and honestly.
It's like creating this culture of preparedness where wildfire safety is just ingrained in our communities, like earthquake preparedness or hurricane awareness.
Exactly. And it's not just about knowing, it's about doing.
Right.
It's about taking those little steps, like creating that defensible space around your home or having an evacuation plan. And when everyone does those things, it makes the whole community stronger.
It feels like we're talking about a whole new way of looking at wildfires.
Yeah.
You know, from being afraid of them to respecting their power and finding ways to live safely alongside them.
That's a great way to put it. And it's a change we're seeing more and more as these fires become a bigger part of our lives.
It really is.
So it's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity.
It is.
To rethink how we approach this issue and build a more resilient future.
Well said. This has been a really eye-opening deep dive so far.
Yeah, it's given us a lot to think about, a lot to talk about, and most importantly, a lot to do.
Exactly.
And to our listener, we want to leave you with this. Stay informed, stay engaged, and stay proactive.
Yeah.
We all have a role to play in creating a future where we can live safely with wildfires.
Absolutely.
It's inspiring to hear about all these proactive approaches.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to acknowledge the role of technology in all this too.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, the article mentions some pretty promising advancements.
Right. It does. What's going on there?
Well, technology is changing so fast.
Yeah.
And it's playing a bigger and bigger role in how we respond to wildfires.
Yeah.
Like, we're seeing amazing things with fire detection systems now.
Oh.
They're using satellites and AI to spot fires when they're just starting.
Oh, wow.
And that early detection is so important.
Right.
Because it gives firefighters a chance to get there before it gets out of control.
It makes sense. The quicker they can get there, the better chance they have of stopping it.
Exactly.
So what else is happening with technology?
Well, another area where it's having a big impact is in predictive modeling.
Okay.
So basically they use data like weather, topography, fuel load information, and they can create these really sophisticated models that actually predict how the fire is going to behave.
So it's like a crystal ball for wildfires.
Kinda, yeah.
That's cool.
It helps firefighters understand how a fire might spread,
Okay.
where it's likely to get worse, how to use their resources most effectively.
So they can be more strategic.
Exactly. Using data to make better decisions.
That sounds like it could really change the game.
It really could.
What about actually fighting the fires, though? Is technology helping with that, too?
Oh, definitely. The article talks about drones, for example.
Oh, yeah, drones.
They're becoming really important tools for firefighters.
How so?
Well, they could provide aerial surveillance so they can see what's happening from above.
Nah.
They can help map the fire's perimeter, and they can even drop fire retardant in areas that are hard to reach on foot.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's amazing how much technology is helping us fight these fires.
It's like a whole new arsenal in our toolbox.
It is, but we have to remember that technology is just one part of the solution.
Right.
It's a really powerful tool, but it has to be used strategically, and it has to be combined with all those other things we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Community engagement, land management, individual preparedness.
So it's not about technology replacing humans. It's
Yeah.
about humans and technology working together.
Exactly. It's about combining the best of both worlds.
Yeah, using innovation, but also recognizing the importance of human ingenuity and collaboration and understanding the environment.
That's a great way to put it.
This whole conversation has really changed how I think about wildfires.
Yeah, me too.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the destruction,
It is.
but hearing about these proactive strategies, these new technologies, gives me hope.
Me too. The challenges are definitely huge, but we're not helpless.
Right.
We're learning more about wildfires all the time, and we're coming up with new tools and strategies to fight them.
And I think most importantly, we're starting to have these conversations about the need for a more proactive, a more comprehensive way to manage wildfires.
Exactly. It's about understanding that wildfires are a natural part of many ecosystems.
Right.
But we have to find ways to live with them safely and sustainably.
Well said. This deep dive has been a real eye-opener.
It has.
It's given us a lot to think about, a lot to discuss, and most importantly, a lot to act on.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, we'll leave you with this. Stay informed, stay engaged, and stay proactive.
Yeah, because we can all play a part.
We all have a role in creating a future where we can live safely with wildfire.
Absolutely. You know, it's inspiring to hear about all these different approaches people are taking.
Yeah.
But I think it's also important to talk about technology, you know, because the article mentions some pretty cool advancements in that area.
Oh, absolutely. Technology is a game changer here, and it's evolving so quickly.
Yeah.
It's playing a more and more vital role in how we respond to wildfires.
Okay. Like, what specifically are we talking about?
Well, one big area is fire detection systems.
Okay.
We're talking satellites, AI, being able to spot these fires super early.
Oh.
When they're just starting out. That's really key.
Right, because then they can get out there and...
Exactly. It gives firefighters that head start. The quicker they can respond, the better chance they have of containing it before it explodes.
That makes total sense. So early detection is huge.
Huge. And then another area is predictive modeling.
Okay, what's that?
So they're using all this data, weather patterns, the terrain, fuel loads, all that stuff.
Right.
And they're able to create these incredibly sophisticated models that can predict how the fire is going to behave.
So it's like having a crystal ball for wildfires.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It helps firefighters understand where the fire might spread.
Oh, okay.
Where it might get really intense how to best use their resources. It's all about being strategic.
Right. Using that data to make smart decisions.
Exactly. And that's just huge in a situation like this.
That does sound like a total game changer. What about actually fighting the fires themselves, though?
Right. Well, even there, technology is playing a big role.
Okay. How so?
Well, the article mentions drones, for example.
Oh, yeah. Drones.
They're becoming super important tools for firefighters. They can do aerial surveillance.
Right. See everything from above.
Exactly. They can help map the fire perimeter, and they can even drop fire retardant.
Oh, wow.
In places that are really hard to get to on foot. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So technology is giving us this whole new set of tools to fight back against these fires.
It really is. But it's important to remember that technology is only one piece of the puzzle.
Right. Okay.
It's a really powerful tool, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it has to be used strategically, and it has to work together with all those other approaches we talked about.
Okay, so what? Community engagement, land management.
Exactly. Individual preparedness, all of that.
So it's not about replacing humans with robots or something?
No, definitely not. It's about humans and technology working together.
Okay.
Each one playing to its strengths.
Using innovation, but also human ingenuity and collaboration.
Exactly. And a deep understanding of the environment.
Yeah.
All that combined.
Yeah, this conversation has really changed my whole perspective on these wildfires.
Yeah, me too.
It's easy to get caught up in all the destruction.
It really is.
But hearing about these solutions, the technology, it gives me a lot of hope.
Me too. These challenges are significant for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not powerless. We're learning more about wildfires all the time.
Yeah.
We're developing new tools, new strategies to combat them.
And maybe most importantly, we're finally having these conversations about how we need to be more proactive, take a more holistic approach to managing these fires.
Exactly. It's about understanding that wildfires are a natural part of a lot of ecosystems.
Yeah.
But we need to figure out how to live with them safely, sustainably.
Yeah. Well said. This has been a really incredible deep dive, eye-opening.
I agree.
Given us all a lot to think about and hopefully a lot to do, too.
Absolutely. And to our listeners, we just want to leave you with this. Stay informed, stay engaged, and stay proactive.
The devastating mountain fire that erupted in Southern California is fueled by strong Santa Ana winds. The wildfire has burned thousands of acres, destroyed homes, and forced thousands to evacuate. Officials warn of critical fire weather conditions across the state, with gusty winds and low moisture increasing the risk of further fires. The fire's rapid spread and intense heat have made it difficult to contain, and firefighters are struggling to control the blaze. This has been a Sharri Plaza presentation.